Welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I'm recapping episode 7 of Real Housewives of Potomac. I cannot believe that we are already at episode 7. That does not feel real. That does not feel right. That continues to make me feel like time isn't a real thing, that it's more of a social construct and we're all just here. Anyway, another conversation for another day. But nonetheless, we are here on episode 7, which I personally really struggled to watch. I felt so triggered by the gaslighting language that was used against Wendy, which we will get to later in this video. But I really found myself having to reach out to the people with whom I was live tweeting about the episode. Like, I'm getting so angry. Somebody digitally, virtually, energetically hold my hand to get me through this, because what even? So I didn't even know that I really wanted to recap this episode because I just found it to be so trifling and upsetting. But I am a professional, so here I am, darling, for you today. Whether I want to be or not, we gonna make the best of it. So episode 7, the ladies are still in Williamsburg on their trip. Only this time, Ashley is coming to join them, but only for a day. And thank God, because Ashley is mess, which we have known for seasons, right? But every time it still feels like the first time with her. I want Ashley to find another way to connect with people that doesn't involve drama, mess, gossip. Do you have anything to your personality? Is there anything that you can contribute to a relationship or to a friendship that doesn't involve mess?
Paul, why is you here?
And I know that's an interesting thing to say, like, on a reality show, right? So some of it is warranted. Like, we are here to be entertained. Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
Yes, we are. But I guess it's just a testament to her whack-ass intro line of being messy. Not something I would really take pride in, but I mean, get it how you live, I guess. It's like Erykah Badu and Funky Dineva said, work ain't honest, but it pays the bills. So I guess, girl. But I'm glad she's only there for a day. That does not stop her from being messy, though. It's just who she is. So, Karen, I understand that you are not featuring Giselle right now. And I want you to know that it is okay that you aren't. Many of us aren't. However, I need you to let this go. No one owes your kids anything. No one owes your husband anything. She didn't wish death on your husband. That's not a thing. I would love for Karen to just come to a place where it's like, you know what? I just don't care for Giselle. She's not my kind of person. I don't know that this is something that we can recover from as individuals. We can be cordial, but I'm just not featuring her. That's okay. I'm okay with that. I want you to be okay with that. But let's stop trying to sell this thing that she wished death on your husband and that she owes something to your kids, who, I'm sorry, your kids are very grown adults. Move on. The ladies show up to breakfast, and in the words of the late, great Cicely Tyson, some of y'all just ain't got no coof. Not coof, coof. Okay? There was a much less disruptive and much more gracious way, or graceful way, for Giselle and Robin to have excused themselves from that breakfast, to have that conversation. Moreover, they could have had that conversation like the previous night or something. I don't know, but it was just such an intentional mean girl of, oh, let's go kick off to the side. And it's like, y'all are so grown to still be behaving in that way. And I found that just utterly, people who lack social skills, social graces, and I don't mean in the like oppressive kind of way. I mean social graces as in you have an awareness of the way that you are impacting others. And you take that into account in the way you deal with them in social settings. I don't mean like Where do you place your napkin, darling? And which fork do you use for what? That's not what I'm talking about. I mean, just being considerate of other people in social spaces. There was a much less disruptive way to go off to the side and have that conversation. But what that showed me was two things. Number one, Giselle seems to be fully incapable of compassion across the board. Even with Robin, who she claims to love, but I feel like that love is based very much, it's rooted in Robin's blind loyalty to Giselle. And I doubt that if Robin ever questioned Giselle or didn't jump to her defense, I doubt that that friendship would be what it is. I really think that that is a toxic ass friendship, and that Giselle really benefits from Robin not fully being in her own power, I guess is a way of saying it. But even there, she cannot be compassionate to her friend, all things being held constant. I don't know if Giselle is just unaware of the signs of depression or what, but this is not how you talk to a friend who's hurting. It's just not. She continues to make Juan the center of Robin's pain, Robin's not getting up and getting out of the bed. Your money should be the reason why you get up and get out of bed. Okay. As a person who struggles to thrive under capitalism, right? I understand and can empathize with Robin having gone through what she went through financially and coming out of that on the other side, right? And the freedom and the relief that you must get from not having to do focus groups to scrape up money to pay for groceries. That's a real thing. The financial anxiety and insecurity is a real thing. So I can understand how a person would think, well, you need to just get up every day and be grateful that you're no longer in that situation. That's not enough, though, if a person is actually struggling or suffering with depression. These external validators that people think are enough for someone to overcome that kind of feeling, that kind of illness, that kind of struggle is ridiculous. And Giselle seems sometimes to be too smart to not know any better than that. And for me, the question shouldn't be, what are you going to do about Juan? What if he doesn't want to marry you? What if your fine husband, and you ain't got too many times to keep calling my fiance, my husband fine like that. That makes me a little bit uncomfortable, Giselle. Like, keep it cute. Watch that. That's weird to me. I don't like that.
I don't like that.
But the questions should be, what do you need? How can I, as a friend, support you? Moreover, what about the wellness of your kids? Your kid has a 48 in math. Is your husband not doing anything to try to help? Or is all of this solely on you? Because that's a different conversation. I continue to hate the way that conversation is being addressed. It's so much more than what this man is going to think of you. And Giselle has a habit, she's not alone in it, but has a habit of centering men in everything, which I find fascinating because she does not have one, has not had a stable one in so long. So how and why are you making men, centering men so much in this way when men have not shown up for you on this show? And as far as we've seen, something's not right. The other thing that I'm confused about, what success is Robin afraid of? I mean that, no tea, no shade. Are you actually afraid of being successful with this hat line? I need for a psychologist to or a therapist to really break that down for me. I don't know a single person who has purchased one of Robin's hats. I'm not saying that people aren't purchasing them. I'm not saying that she isn't doing well with it. I'm not saying that I don't wish her well. However, what success are you afraid of? And if money is your motivator, why are you not calling back these major retailers that want to work with you. I think she even said QVC. Like, are you crazy? Why aren't you doing that? Again, depression, something isn't right. So that whole, I want them to stop doing that. Don't have no more conversations about that, because it makes both of them look goofy. So Ashley and Giselle have a side conversation about the dinner from the night before. And, Karen has told her while they were at water aerobics, which I still don't get why they did water aerobics, but Karen kind of let Ashley know, shit went down last night. Giselle just went down the table attacking everybody, which she did. And then when the focus was put back on her, she couldn't take it. Super huge problem I have with Giselle. And so Ashley goes to talk to Giselle about this. If you find yourself constantly saying that everybody else is just too selfish, maybe it's you. And baby, it's you. There is no grand conspiracy in the world to make you look bad. Everyone hasn't gotten together and decided we're all going to have the same pressure points when it comes to Giselle. Maybe it's you. Maybe you lack compassion. Maybe you lack empathy. Maybe you lack awareness. Again, social graces, social intelligence, emotional intelligence. I haven't seen any of these things yet on this show. So they then decide, oh, well, we should confront Wendy about this in front of everyone at lunch when we go. Again, reality TV shit. Okay, sure. If you're not sorry, don't apologize. That's one thing that I really like about Crystal Minkoff on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Don't apologize if you're not sorry. Giselle was not sorry for how she made Wendy feel. When you qualify your apology with, if I made you feel that way, no, I am sorry that my words made you feel that way. That was not my intention. This is what I meant. That's a better way to go about things. But this dismissive shit that you're doing, no. Wendy was very clear when you said, I lack substance now. That really hurt my feelings. And instead of Giselle taking that in and giving a sincere apology, or at least even sitting with it, it was immediately diminishing, gaslighting, downplaying, dismissing Wendy's feelings. What I really, really found frustrating too is that when Robin brought her ass along, and it was this pile up on Wendy of basically invalidating her feelings. And the phrase that really, really bothered me that both Giselle and Robin said was, okay, well, I just can't talk to you. I just want to confront you about nothing else. Triggering. I don't have to take any and everything that you say to me. If you say something to me that I don't feel right, that I feel like crosses a boundary, that I don't enjoy, that I want clarity on, I have every right to bring that to you. Now, the way that communication works is that there is a back and forth. Just because you apologize doesn't mean that now, and it was a bullshit apology at that, but just because you apologize doesn't mean that I now have to take that and pack my feelings up and move on. No, we're going to have a conversation. And what really, really set it off too was that I know that on some level they knew that Wendy was right, was bringing up that we're not on CNN right now. Like, how condescending. How utterly condescending. You know that she has a point and you want to shut it down. Girl, no ma'am. You know that she's making a valid point. Ashley kept cutting her off, all this and that. And all of this is about Wendy's body. It's ultimately about Wendy's body. This is not, it's actually kind of giving jealousy. I will admit, yes, Wendy is different this season. Yes, she got some body work done. Yes, she's a little bit more, free and loose than she was last season. But who isn't? Karen isn't how Karen was on her first season of the show either. Karen's wigs got updated. She's much less stuffy, much less judgmental. It's okay for people to evolve. It's okay for people to try some shit, especially on reality TV. If you look at you, hell, Giselle, I wish you would make some changes. I wish you would see how your fashions refuse to evolve. I wish you would see that and make some changes moving forward. Yet, here we are. So, I don't understand how there's much more concern being put on Wendy and her body changes and this change in her character than there is on Robin's quite obvious depression. How? This isn't real. This is not sincere. You don't care about her. And I find that especially interesting too, because they really were condescending and judgmental about this moment between Wendy and Karen, which I thought was really special, because when you are hurt, you just want someone else to care. Now, is it entirely possible that Karen is pouring into Wendy on some the enemy of my enemy is my friend type shit? Quite possibly. But in that moment, she gave Wendy something that Wendy needed. And the fact that people made a joke out of that and kind of laughed at her about that, I didn't like it. And say the other thing, Mia, let me pull you to the side. Just like the women should not pass judgments and make assumptions about you based on the amount of body work that you've had done, your ambivalence about your sex working career past, just like no one should judge you for that, it is super wild that you judge Wendy for how Wendy presents. And I really got super frustrated with Giselle trying to flip that to say, oh, so because she has a past, she can't have an opinion. And I'm happy that Wendy said, that's what you said. That's not what I said. Because it isn't. If I'm not passing judgment on you, which I don't know that Wendy was necessarily passing judgment on me so much as she just felt insecure around her. But if I'm not passing judgment on you for the way that you present, where it will be really easy for someone to think that you're a dumb gold digging hoe. Somebody could easily say or think that about you instead of getting to know you, which those ladies did think that about you at first. That is what they thought about you. And the only reason they stopped thinking that about you is because you gave them your life story of how you grew up in the foster system and you have parents who suffer from drug abuse. Just like it's not okay for them to make those kinds of rash judgments about you, you go out into the world and you make judgments about women based on their clothes. You don't always need to play devil's advocate, because the devil don't need no help. The devil don't need no help. I'm really looking at Mia sideways. Why is it okay for you? Why is it okay for you? No one should, especially as women, especially as Black women, we really shouldn't be doing that to each other. And I just find that really interesting. And it is rich coming from Mia. Like, get out of here. It's okay for you to have been a sex worker. It's okay for you to have had body work done. It's okay for you to be married to an older man who's wealthy. All of that is okay. Why isn't it okay for Wendy to just be trying to find herself in this moment? Anywho, so they get to the whiskey tasting, and Robin is clearly drunk. Robin is feeling it. Robin is feeling her beat, which is fine. That's what they're there for. It's not like she got drunk in church. You know, get drunk where appropriate, drink responsibly, all of the things. And Ashley wants to pull Wendy to the side because she feels like maybe the conversation about Eddie would be better had to the side. If Giselle cared as much about Wendy as she claims to care about Robin, why didn't Giselle pull Wendy to the side to have that conversation too? Because she don't care about her either. You know, Giselle is like, Karen don't like you, Wendy. Well, Giselle, neither do you, because you put her on blast in front of everybody. You didn't even have a follow-up pull you to the side conversation with her like you did with Robin. So we see where your values are. I don't know why Ashley felt like it would be better coming from her, but Wendy was not happy with the conversation being brought up about her husband and infidelity and blaming her changes to her body on that. Once again, you're centering men. Wendy came out swinging. Wendy still did not give everything that I wanted Wendy to give. But when she brought God into it, I thought she made that thing. She meant everything she said. She meant that thing. I'm going to say I understand Wendy's frustration, but I hope that at some point Wendy apologizes to Monique. Because the very behavior that Wendy displayed last night is the very behavior that she judged Monique for last season. So I do hope that now that the shoe is on the other foot, now that she has been indoctrinated into the group and now has more of an understanding of the dynamics and how these people can push your buttons in order to get a scene, I hope that an apology to Monique comes soon. It's again, I guess it's okay until it's okay for you, but it's not okay for everybody else. Just something to make note of. Something to make note of. You know, I'm happy that Wendy confronted Giselle. I also want to say, like, it was so vulgar, like what Robin did when she was like, yeah, okay, I'll go F myself, like the hand gesture. Oh, honey, I understand he was drunk, but like, okay, those two just, the double teaming, do not like. So that's all I have for this episode. Again, it was a triggering, trifling, upsetting, condescending mess, but that's what we tune in for. And yeah, Wendy's response to Giselle's behavior was much more sincere than it was to Mia's behavior. That's why I feel like how she spoke to Mia at the spa day was much more orchestrated and scripted. This was real. This was Wendy genuinely being hurt and genuinely and rightfully feeling attacked by how these women were coming at her. She didn't go as hard at her as she should have or could have, because Giselle really don't have anything to say when it comes to herself. It's always, to Karen's point, it's always, I'm going to deflect off of me and I'm going to talk about everybody else under the guise of I care about you and we're friends, so that can't nobody ask me nothing about my man. So that can't nobody ask me nothing about my situation. So that can't nobody ask me why I continue to furnish my home exclusively from Burlington Coat Factory at Greenbrier Mall. We're on to you. Anywho, that's all I have for this episode. Make sure to like and subscribe. Slide in the comments. Let me know what you thought of this episode, and I will be back. Oh, don't forget, send me money. Become a patron so that I can continue creating free content. I would appreciate some coins. It can be your daddy's coins, whomever's coins. Send them my way. I will not sing that song even though I want to. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.